What's up, everybody, and welcome to Read the Bible with me. I'm Stan Jr., and today we are looking at none other than the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4. The book of Nehemiah, chapter 4. And I'm really excited about it because we have talked about Nehemiah and how everything's going great. Seems like the wall is being built, but now he's going to meet some opposition. So if you're new here, go ahead and click the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. If you're a Bible Club member, go ahead and click like on this video and leave a comment below. Please, a white flag or something that lets me know that you are participating with us as we read. You know, Bible Club members are the people that support this ministry with $10 a month. You can become one real simply by clicking the link in the description or leaving a comment below just asking for help, and I'll help you do that myself. So let's look at chapter 4 of the book of Nehemiah. It says, "Now when Sanballat," what a name, Sanballat, "heard that we were building the wall," this is when the enemy hears about it, your opposition, "he was angry and greatly enraged, and he jeered at the Jews." You see, people hate to see you in. And let me tell you something. It is something even more grotesque when they see you doing something for the Lord. Oh man, people really don't like when people do things for the sake of Christ. And that's all right. Jesus warned us about that. They would hate him before they hated us. And it's a good sign that you're a Christian if they hate you. That's a great sign. So we see here that just because he's following the Lord's commands, now other people are enraged. "And he said in the presence of his brothers and the army of Samaria, 'What are these feeble Jews doing?'" Call them a name, call them stupid. "Will they restore it for themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they finish up in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of rubbish and burned ones at that?" Tobiah the Ammonite was beside him, and he said, "Yes. What they are building, if a fox go up on it, he will break down their stone wall." So they're making fun of it now. Not only were they started ridiculing and making fun of Nehemiah. People do that. If you're doing something for God, they will call you a fool. They will say that you don't make any sense. How could you follow God? You see, all these different accusations that they'll say, they'll just make fun of you. They'll make fun of you. And so look forward to these things. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're doing anything worth doing for God, people will make fun of it. They'll say, "Why are you doing that?" And no one's going to do that with you. Nobody's going to get up in the morning and read the Bible every day, right? But we're proving them wrong every day. And we're enjoying the Lord while we're doing it. And so he says, yes, that they are building. He says, if a fox goes up on the wall, then the whole thing will fall down. He says, "Hear, O God, hear, O our God, for we are despised. Turn back their taunt on their own heads and give them up to be plundered in the land where they are captive." So he responds and says, "Lord, hear our prayer. Let their harsh words be turned against them. Do not cover their guilt, and let not their sin be blotted out from your sight, for they have provoked you to anger in the presence of the builders." So we built the wall. You hear that? I love that verse right there, buddy. Wow. Think about what that's saying. After all this ridicule, after all the picking and the bullying and the ranking and all the talking about them, he says, "So we built the wall. And the wall was joined together to half its height, for the people had a men to work." But when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabs and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the repairing of the walls of Jerusalem was going forward and that the breaches were beginning to be closed, they were very angry. And they all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and to cause confusion in it. And we prayed to our God and set a guard as a protection against them day and night. In Judah it was said, "The strength of those who bear the burdens is failing. There is too much rubble. By ourselves we will not be able to rebuild the wall." And now they started self-doubting after all of this. And so, by ourselves, they say, "We can't do it." And our enemies said, "They will not know or see till we come among them and kill them and stop the work." So they're spreading the seeds of doubt. At that time, the Jews who lived near them came from all directions and said to us 10 times, "You must return to us." So in the lowest parts of the space behind the wall, in the open places, I stationed the people by their clans, with their swords and spears and their bows, and I looked and arose and said to the nobles and to the officials and to the rest of the peoples, "Do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes." So he didn't put it on them, their power, their might, their strength, their army, their swords, their bows. No, he said, remember, not that you're strong, not that you're smart, not that you're wise, not that you're educated, not that you are experienced, but remember the Lord and who he is. And I'm telling you that this morning, to remember the Lord and who he is in your situation. No matter what it is, don't put your trust in yourself. Lean not to your own understanding, but acknowledge the Lord. Ask God for help in all of your ways, and he will direct you. And we see here, when our enemies heard that it was known to us that the God had frustrated their plan, we all returned to the wall, each to his work. From that day on, half of my servants worked on construction, and half held the spears, shields, bows, coats of mail, and the leaders stood behind the whole house of Judah, who were building on the wall. Those who carried burdens were loaded in such a way that each labored on the work with one hand and held his weapon with the other. And each of the builders had his sword strapped at his side while he built. So he said, we got to be able to do two things at once. Don't, put yourself in a frame of mind where you can only do one thing. No, you got to be able to do two things at once sometimes. And it's okay. It's not being unfocused. You got to do what you got to do, is what he's saying. We got weapon in one hand, and we got some building in the other, a hammer in the other. And so he says, the man who sounded the trumpet was beside me. And I said to the nobles and to the officials and to the rest of the people, the work is great and widely spread, and we are separated on the wall, far from one another. In this place, in the place where you hear the sound of the trumpet, rally to us there. Our God will fight for us. I love his confidence in God. So we labored at the work, and half of them held the spears from the break of dawn until the stars came out. I also said to the people at that time, let every man and servant pass the night within Jerusalem, that they may be a guard for us by night and labor by day. So neither I nor my brothers nor my servants nor the men of the guard who followed me, none of us took off our clothes. Each kept his weapon at his right hand. They were on guard. You got to stay vigilant. You got to stay disciplined. You got to stay consistent with whatever God has given you. Stay on guard with it. Don't drop the ball. God gave it to you. See it to the end. Amen. That's chapter 4 of the book of Nehemiah. I'm thankful for all those that are reading with me. Stay consistent. This is going to continue to change you over time. It doesn't happen quickly, but we become more like Christ over time by spending time with him. Amen. Then our fruit will remain. Thank you for reading. Next time I see you, we're reading chapter 5. And if you'd like to become a Bible Club member, I'd appreciate it. If you support the ministry with $10 a month, we buy Bibles and send them to persecuted Christians, as well as we send missionaries every month into the world to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we do that by your donation. So thank you so much for it. Become one by clicking the link in the description, or just ask for help in the comment section. I'll help you myself. God bless you. See you next time. Peace.